Hi. So, I want to talk a little bit more about my hopes for this channel. Story to Culture isn't just about the film or the TV show or the book, if I ever get to that. It's also about the people. It's about the people watching, you and I. It's about the characters on screen. And it's about the people who are behind the scenes, the actors, the writers, the crew, directors, producers. It's about all of us and how this story can be a reflection of all of our lives, which is why I'm so excited about this new segment of Story to Culture. This is Beyond the Story. Hi,
Hi,
Hannah.
Sharon.
How are
How,
you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. It's good to see you.
I know it's been a while.
Yes. Can you just go into the questions? So, my
Sure.
first one is, in your own words, tell us about the essay. What is the film about?
So the essay is basically a relatable story about that experience people have when they know they have something due and they know that they have something really important to do, but for some weird reason they just can't do it. They just put it off, they make excuses, and they just procrastinate until it reaches the deadline and then you're like panicking, but it's like you did this to yourself. Why did you do this to yourself? And
Yeah.
look, from the outside looking in, it doesn't make any sense, but like on the inside, you're just going through this kind of weird internal battle that's cr causing you to self-sabotage.
Yeah. And was there any particular inspiration for this story? Or you just like, I want to do a relatable story?
Yeah, so it kind of focuses on the focus was a university student, um, which whether you have or haven't gone to university, maybe even in school you can relate to a school assignment. I just thought, okay, let me think of a character that is going to be um, relatable to everyone, but also a little. It also annoys you a little bit, but then it makes you re think about how you annoy yourself in those circumstances. When
Mm,
you look back at something like, I could have done that in 1 week, and instead it took me a month because I was just dragging my heels. Um, so yeah, so we followed the main character, Tori, um, who she wants to do well. So for her backstory, it's like she is someone who generally does do well, but for some reason, and they mention that Chrissy mentions that to her when she starts flunking one of her teacher's classes. Um, Ever since then, it starts going downhill. So it's
mm.
like not her normal. It's not the norm for her to be struggling with her assignments. And then you also hear that other storyline of her competing with her sibling. So I'm sure everyone has either had a sibling, it could be a relative or a friend or someone that also maybe parents or teachers or whoever would compare you to, or you
Mm.
compare yourself to, and then it makes you um self-sabotage even more because you're just like, oh well, I can't achieve that, so forget it. What's the point of even trying?
I want to go into those things soon, but before we get into that, I want to talk about the film, just like the project and making the project. So there's a few people in this film, and you also star in it, by the way, which you directed and starred in it. So I want to ask about that too. But what was the process like making the film, like finding the actors, the cinematographers, editors, and then the process of directing yourself as you were acting? Just walk us through all
So
of that.
with the essay, so officially I wasn't directing, but obviously because it's my production, I was EP. So I did have someone come in to direct, which was really helpful because I always wondered how can someone like act and direct at the same time? Because like you need to see it from the other side and be
Yeah.
in it, which is confusing, which I have now done on a later project, but I feel like for this first one, I was like, no, I need eyes on the other side. Um, but in terms of pulling it together, I had joined a program called the Break Free Writers, and they take you for a couple of weeks going through different scripts, different pieces of work, and then at the end of it, you and all the other people in the course bring your work. And everyone reads through, analyzes it, gives you some advice, talk
Mm.
about the things they like, things you can work on, maybe things to change, and also how to what's the most realistic way of shooting this because I had a whole scene I'd originally written. Tori references it when she goes to Chrissy's house about how she wanted to go to the library or the cafe to get some work done. So I'd written a whole scene for like being in the cafe, being in the library, but it was just
Yeah.
like on the budget that you have with a self-funded project, um, and with the people that you have, um, how realistic is it to shoot this and how expensive is it going to be? And also, how necessary is it to the story? Because the point
Mm.
of the story is to, say that she goes here, does this, does that, instead of just sitting down and focusing on the essay. And it's like you don't have to have those scenes to say that. So
Yeah.
it's one of those things when your script becomes your baby, and when people like say, we don't actually need this scene, you're like, oh no, like it's painful to just like rip a whole scene that you're like, oh, but I like this scene because it shows this and that, but it's like we didn't actually need it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so bringing it together, I went on the Facebook groups where, things like I need a producer, I need this and that. And I put out a
Hmm.
cast call and a crew call, and I got more responses than I was expecting to get.
That's
And
good.
yeah, so then it came to the point of casting um, and looking through people's reels and seeing who seems to match the character, who matches the role. And I was lucky enough, I think the two actresses that I found exactly what I was imagining for the two characters. So I was like,
Yeah.
perfect, nailed that. And then the crew as well. The crew, that's always a gamble because you never know until you start working together. But I think we were lucky enough that everyone got well, mostly got along anyway, and everyone just like came together to make it happen. And as I said, it was not there was no funding for it. So people understood this is a passion project. So you're doing this because you want to do this, not because you're getting paid to
Hmm.
do this. Um, so I feel like that brings a different energy on set as well. When it's like people understand that it's just like, no, I wrote this. I want to put this story out there, and I'm like genuinely grateful for all the people who have come on board and want to make that happen. So yeah, that was a fun part of it.
Yeah. That's cool too. Like, it's always nice when you're able to actually like get all the people together to make something happen. Okay, the themes of the film. It was very interesting. And then I think I started thinking a lot about it. And like, what is the reason why someone would act this way? And it got kind of like deep. So maybe we'll talk about that. But you mentioned procrastination, and I was saying like I think a lot of people relate to that of there's always that joke too. They're like when writers have something to write, then you realize, oh, I need to do laundry, I need to go wash my kitchen, I need to go take a walk,
Yeah.
and it's you do everything but write. And I was just thinking of what are like why do we do that to ourselves? Like why do we know that we have something to do and then for some reason we just can't do it? So I want to get your thoughts on that. Like why is it so common and what do you think are some of the reasons why people just can't seem to start things?
So, firstly, I'll say it's really ironic that whilst I was writing it, I found myself doing that. And I was just like, oh no, I don't want to be Tori. Like, she needs help. I don't want to be her. But yeah, I think there are so many reasons we've touched on briefly, and probably more reasons that I'm not even aware of that I'm sure all the psychologists have already figured out. But I think it's self-sabotage, right? So it's just like sometimes you doubt yourself, you get overwhelmed, and you think, I can't do this, so I'm not going to do this. And so I think sometimes it's subconscious. You don't realize that that's what's happening, but that's
Hmm.
why you're just like, actually, all of a sudden, I need to clear the sink that I wasn't going to touch. But now that I've got work to do, I want to clear the sink. Um, I think it's like you're struggling with something, and instead of just sitting down and getting it done, your mind convinces you that it's too difficult and it's too painful, and we all just want an easy life. No one wants a challenge. So I think it's overcoming that fear that you can't do it. Maybe you've had a scenario where you tried to do something and you didn't do too well. So in this circumstance, she's flunked a previous class, so maybe she's got bad grades or something. And because she's not used to that, 'cause she doesn't usually get bad grades, she's like, I don't understand this world where all of a sudden I try and it doesn't come out well. So she's like, well, if when I tried it didn't go well, why would I try again? It's just not going to go well again. But it's like that's a very negative mentality to have because it's
Hmm.
like maybe however you, whatever you were doing, however you were learning, or however you executed what you needed to do was not the right way to do it. And you just need to do a bit more digging or get some coaching, get some mentoring. She could have gone to her one of her tutors or lecturers or whoever and sat down and gone through like what were the issues? Why did I make these mistakes? And like
Yeah.
fixed it. But instead she was just like she was too ashamed and too embarrassed to like ask for help. So
Mm-hmm.
she'd rather just like struggle through it and then fail
Mm-hmm.
in the end. And then yeah, I feel like there's so many different reasons. So in her circumstance as well, we have the whole family element.
Mm-hmm.
Um, where I mean, I didn't specify Tori's background, but let's assume she's either from an African or Caribbean background.
Yeah.
And in certain households, there would be, a lot of pressure from parents to do well. Um, um, Being from Ghana myself, I know that there's a lot of focus on academia.
Mm-hmm.
And it's out of security. It's like for the love of your children, you want them to be secure. You want them to
Mm-hmm.
do well so that they can secure a job and blah blah blah. So
Yeah.
that's where that pressure comes from. But how it's actualized itself in Tori's life is that she feels like she's competing with her brother, and her brother's done well when she hasn't done well, and her brother's been rewarded with the car that was like her favorite car.
Mm-hmm.
And so now it feels like it's just like another layer of it's just icing on the cake that not only did I not do well, but my brother did well and I didn't. He got the an internship, I didn't, and then now he's been rewarded with the thing I wanted. So yeah, she just feels like she's just getting lower and lower and lower. Um, and yeah, I think I just wanted to add in like different layers to why she's doing what she's doing because there
Mm-hmm.
can be so many different reasons.
I feel like I relate to, okay, so backstory about me. When I got to university, I think was the first time I realized that I had this, maybe it's like a fear of failure. Like I realized I was just now learning how to ask for help or learning how to be wrong in the sense that I had to learn how to be okay with, oh, actually, I'm not good at this and I need to ask someone, can you help me do this? Where I think I wasn't doing that when I was at home for some reason. So even that idea of being scared to fail, I think maybe we all need to come to this agreement or this mindset that failure is just part of life, and failure actually can be something helpful for someone to get better at in their life. Where I think a lot of us don't have that, and so because of that, we're like, if we fail, this is the worst thing that can happen, and so then we're then too scared to even try.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it made me think we have so many of these, we live in this um social media age where, we get a lot of our life lessons from TikTok and Instagram and all these things. And we always see all these phrases like you miss 100% of the shots you don't take,
Yeah.
or, an L is just a learning curve and things like that. And I think it's like, as corny as they may be, there's so much truth in all of those phrases because
Hmm.
it's like, um, with Tori, it's just like what she's doing and what we sometimes do in life is you don't bother trying, so you fail. But it's like, but if you had tried and failed, you would have learned something from that failure. And then it's not really a failure because at the end of the day, you got something out of it. You learned something.
Yeah.
Um, in life, we tend to see all these success stories and you just see the winning moment. You didn't see all the L's they took to
Hmm.
get to that winning moment. So I think that was something I was also like that also motivated me in writing it. Like there were so many things that came out of it after I when it was done that I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that. And I'm like, I guess this is something that we're kind of exploring in this
Yeah.
in this film. I just kind of was mainly thinking, yeah, this is a student who you're gonna watch it, she's gonna annoy you. I know a lot of the feedback I got when I watched it is that people were like they kind of just wanted to shake her or like slap her and be like, just do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like you wanna it's like an out of body experience. Those times when you're not doing the thing you should be doing, you kind of want to shake
Hmm.
yourself and be like, can you just do it? Like,
Yeah.
because in those times when you actually do face something that you've been putting off, you might struggle at the beginning, and then after a while, you're like, actually, this is not that bad. It's not that difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I'm halfway through, this actually isn't the end of the world. Like
Mm-hmm.
I could have started this a week ago if I had
Yeah.
put. And then you're like, yeah, maybe next time I have something to do, I should just start it instead of dragging my heels.
Yeah. Yeah, no, my first thing I wrote on my notes, I was like, this girl is not focused for real. And I was like, the first thing, because I was like,
Yeah.
what is going on? But
Yeah.
then I think as her story unfolded, I was like, okay, I can see why she's like finding it hard to start things. But then you
Yeah.
mentioned about comparison too, and she's comparing herself to her brother Micah, who's doing really well, getting all the things that she wanted, which
Mm.
I think I wrote too that I think, especially now, like we always say social media, and it sounds so cliche when people talk about it, but I feel like it's true when you're able to watch people's lives or like the best parts of people's lives that they present. And I feel like even, I don't know, even when people are like, "Oh, this is the real me," there's still this element of like performatism that comes with it. And we're watching lives or personalities that we then start to compare ourselves to, like, oh, I wish I was more like this, wish I could have these things, even like in our real lives, just people around us. Um, so what do you have just to say about that comparison, social media, real life, relating to the film, relating to your own life?
Yeah, so that's definitely true. I think when you see people come on social media and they're just like, yeah, this is the real me, it's like, but it's not because you edited this video. You probably cut all the bad edits and just put the best one. So is it the real you? Like, unless you're doing a live and we get to see
Yeah.
everything, then it's
Yeah.
not the real you, is it?
Hmm.
And that's okay. That's fine. But it's when people tell you that it's the real one, it's just like, why are you lying? Like we you don't need to. It's okay. We all know what it is. Everyone's an editor these days. Everyone edits their own
Yeah.
little videos and posts them. Um, but yeah, sorry, back to the comparison. Yeah, I think it's so interesting. Like, even now, I've seen people on social media make posts about how posts are fake. So I've seen videos which I absolutely love, people kind of going behind the curtain and being like, oh, these are the, perfect social media couples or the food bloggers when they'll be like, oh, try this, this is amazing. And they'll be like, and cut, and then they'll show them like spit it out and be like, oh, that was gross. And it's just like it's all just for show, right?
Yeah.
So then, well, it's not all just for show, but it can just be for show. And so, as you said, we can scroll through and just see the best parts of people's lives, and you don't see the hard part behind it.
Mhm.
And I think in this circumstance, Tori's looking at her brother and seeing like he did well, but I don't know how close she is to her brother. Did she ask him like how many hours he was like slaving away studying to get the good grades, to get the internship? It didn't just happen by magic. He had
Hmm.
to put in all, the work, the hard work and stuff. Um, so just seeing the outcome and the nice parts of it, like seeing the nice posts on social media, you're not seeing
Yeah.
the before parts where they were like spending hours working hard, doing all these other things to make that end result happen. Um, yeah, so I think comparison can be very dangerous. Um, and yeah, I think in my personal life comparison, I remember my parents have always said to me, like, when you're looking at someone and you're like, whether it's like a celebrity or like whoever, someone big, and you're like, oh, I wish I had their life, or I wish I had their car or their house or whatever it is. My parents would be like, if you swap lives with them today, you don't know what demons they're struggling with. You don't want their life. They could be going through something really, really, really dark, like
Yeah.
that you don't know about. So don't want, yeah, they have that thing that's quite nice, but they also have other stuff going on that you don't know about. So
Hmm.
you don't want to swap with anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
Yes. And I feel like comparison to, I feel like it distracts you from living your own life. There's this thing I think I heard someone say, but like when you're looking at what somebody else is doing, what somebody else has, they're being them, hopefully. Like you're watching their lives and how they're living their own lives. And you're never going to be able to be them, even if you had their lives. You know what I mean? You would still
Yeah,
be you. So
yeah,
you watching somebody else live their lives just distracts you from living your own life and being
yeah,
the best you. Someone said that and I was like, that's actually quite interesting. Like you only can do what you can and better yourself the way you can. But trying to get what somebody else has might not even work for you.
yeah. No, that's 100% true. And I'm going to make a really weird comparison that is going to seem very unrelated, but I'm currently doing like a Marvel marathon.
Okay.
And so it kind of makes me think of like, so I just watched Hulk, and it's like how that villain, I don't know his name, but he tried to take the same serum Hulk took, and he came out looking very, very different and very, very weird. And it's like you could take exactly the same thing that somebody else takes, and it's going to look different on you because you're not the same person. Your life is your
Yeah.
life, and their life is their life. Where I've seen that, where I have had to realize that myself is a lot of the times the thing that made me struggle to get into writing in the first place was like I was like, but every story's already been told, you
Mm.
know? So it's like what new story could you possibly come up with? And like I'd be like, give me the story and we'll Google it, we'll find it. It already exists. But the thing because it's like what new thing could there possibly be? Um and I can't remember who was saying this to me, but a lot of people in the film industry anyway, who have had to learn this, I suppose, have said that, yeah, but the way you write it is going to be different, and the characters that
Hmm.
you assign are going to be different. Like they can have similarities to other, the story can have similarities to other people, to other characters, to other films, short stories, songs, whatever. But it's always going to be slightly different because you're writing it and you're hopefully not plagiarizing anyone. It's coming out of your brain, so it's going to be different no matter what. And so
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure with the essay you could probably find something really similar out there, but it's just like that shouldn't stop you from making it.
Hmm.
So as you said, when you're looking over at somebody else, you're not living your own life. You're not doing the thing you should be doing that's right in front of you because you're too busy looking over there. Uh,
Hmm.
and yeah, we people just shouldn't do that. Like you should do your own thing because I think when you look at people who have achieved things, they realized that quicker. They weren't
Yeah.
like, what's the point in singing? There's 1,000 singers out there. It's just like, well, I want to do it, so I'm going to do it. And then they
Hmm.
did, and then they got to where they are today. So yeah, if people let that hold them back, everything's been done. So you can do it too, and you should do it too.
Yeah. And I feel like life rewards that kind of mindset when you're like, oh, I'm gonna do it anyways. Like a lot of the people who like I'm thinking all these millionaires or people who are really famous, they're just like, I'm gonna do this because I want to, and they just do it. And because they have that mindset, they're able to go really far. I
Yeah,
think.
100%. I think it's yeah, overcoming that fear. And again, another one of those phrases that it's like the only person standing in your way is you. Like you're telling you that you can't do it.
Yeah.
But if you just said, okay, but what if I did do it? And what if it did work? And even if it didn't work out, as we already said, that's a learning curve. If you try
Hmm.
something and it doesn't work, that's a learning curve. Maybe try it a different way. Or
Hmm.
if it completely isn't for you, at least you tried it. You're not going
Yeah.
to live in the what if.
Yeah.
Um, and you're not going to be, years in the future looking back like, oh, I wish I tried out that thing. Who knows what could have happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. The last theme I wrote down was despondency, which sounds very dark. And that's also something I could see myself in sometimes, not to the extent that Tori is at with school, but just it seems like she's given up on life in this weird way. She's like, I'm not gonna try to pass. And she keeps saying that she wants to, but she's actually not doing it. I feel like that maybe comes from all the different factors you mentioned of like she's comparing herself to her brother and she's too scared to fail, so she doesn't try these different things that kind of just weigh you down over time. And I was saying that this year, even personally, I've been in situations where I'm just like, I'm checking out. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. So I'm just gonna not be there mentally. Um, and I feel like, I don't know, sometimes that can be hard to spot because the person can be showing up physically. Like, she's with her friends and she's talking and like she's there. But then there's this deeper kind of these issues that she's going through inwardly that may not be easy to spot outwardly. So I wanted to ask if you've ever felt that way personally, or if you have any kind of thoughts or advice on how someone who feels that way could kind of navigate life or find a light or come out of that.
Yeah, that is a big one, despondency, because it sounds really dark and it sounds like something that you should be able to spot the signs, like someone's like broody and like wearing all black and dragging their feet. But it's like, no, someone could be, and this is where I allowed Tori to adopt parts of my personality, which is that when I'm low, people can't really, unless I don't hide it intentionally, but like I'm someone who's big on humor and like being entertained,
Mm.
and like if I'm low, I'll just like watch loads of like stand-up comedy and I'll just be laughing. So no one would think she's low because like why she's laughing? She
Yeah.
can't be. So I've had someone say to me, like, "Oh, this is really interesting. Like, I could tell that you're going through a tough time or something like that, but like your spirits seem really high, which is odd. Like, you seem to handle it really well." And I'm like, "Well, I don't know if I'm handling it well or if it just looks like I'm handling it well."
Yeah.
Um, but I think for Tori, I would say she does, she's struggling, and she's struggling with something that is super prevalent in cities. As you said, I'm in London, right? So in London there's this huge thing about loneliness. Like there's every day there's an article about London. Cities are like the loneliest places to be on the planet,
Mm.
even though it's like they're the most crowded, because it's like you're lost in the crowd. Like
Mm.
there's so many people, but it's like because there's so many people, no one sees you. Um, and we have this whole thing in society about individualism and people being very isolated. Um, which then you see the other side of that, which I kind of digress right now, but you see the other side of that is that like I'm seeing loads of things on socials about where they're trying to have um, just group activities
Yeah.
in cities and wherever to try and build community, if that makes
Hmm.
sense. So like there'll be like I don't know, a run club or a sip and paint club, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, come make new friends," and all. And they have the thing like Fiverr where it's like go have a dinner with five people that you've never met before and stuff like that, which is really nice to see that people are trying to do something about it. But they had to create that because there's a loneliness problem in the first place.
Hmm.
Um, and where I'm connecting that to Tori is that hopefully people watching her will see that she is actually struggling with, she feels lonely and that she can't talk to anyone on a real level about what she's going through.
Yeah.
Instead, she's pretending that like, oh, I need help with this or I need help with that. Oh, it's not my fault. My battery died. It's like, okay, whether your battery died or didn't die, had you done the essay at the time you should have done it, it would be done. So
Yeah.
she's coming up with all these excuses, um, which kind of seem like legitimate excuses. Because I think when I was first thinking of my logline, I was kind of thinking along the lines of like, it seems like she's cursed or something. All these bad things keep happening to her, but it's like, no, you did this to yourself. You waited until the
Yeah.
last minute. Had you done it earlier, this wouldn't be a problem. We start off that with that conversation she's on the phone with her mum, and her mum literally, you can't hear her mum, but you hear her respond like, "Yeah, I've already started it." So even
Yeah.
her mum's just like, you have an essay due. Have you started the essay?" So maybe like
Hmm.
it started to become more clear that she's doing this, that she's procrastinating, and that her grades are dwindling. Um, so I think, um, yeah, Tori's really going through it, and it's like painful to watch because it's relatable and because it's like sad to know that there's probably a lot of people going through a similar situation and that they're going through something and maybe they have loads of people around them, maybe they have loads of friends, big family, but they feel lonely because they can't talk to anyone on a real level
Hmm.
about what they're going through. Um, I had another point, but I can't remember what it is.
And then, do you have any advice for people about how to just break out of
Oh,
that
yes,
or?
that was the one. So I think everyone has different you know, things in their life that they use or different tools that they use to maybe center themselves or to, you know, do a factory reset whenever they're going through something. So people who are in therapy, good for you. That's great. I'm sure the therapy is really helping. That would be something that I think that Tori definitely needs to sit down with a therapist and talk through what she's going through.
Yeah.
Um, for me personally, I think my faith is the biggest thing for me um that I can always go back to when I'm struggling with anything in life.
Hmm.
And family and friends. I think having that, have not being lonely, having people that you can speak to on a real level when you're struggling about something, anything, and being able to talk about the things that you wouldn't want to talk with a big group about, but you have one or two people that you're like, I can actually express this to you because you'll understand it or you won't understand it, but we have that relationship that you'll listen to it anyway. And either try and give the advice that I need or just listen to it.
Hmm.
Yeah, because sometimes it's not that you need advice, it's that you say it out loud to another human being. So Tori needed
Hmm.
to be able to say, I'm jealous of my brother, I'm struggling, I have, I don't believe in myself at the moment.
Hmm.
But she hadn't said it. And so she was just like suppressing it and like hiding it with other stuff. So
Hmm.
yeah, I would say for other people, whatever that thing is, having someone around you, going to therapy, praying about it, whatever you can do to,
Hmm.
you know, kind of help you overcome those issues. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah, that's really good. Thank you. Where can people watch the film and where can people find you on socials?
So you can watch it on Vimeo if you do a search for the essay. I'll be honest, there are a number of things called the essay. So I remember when I first tried to look for it, I was like, oh, this is what happens when you give something a very common name. Um, but yes, my name is Anna Marie. So if you do a search for the essay and maybe look for the one by Anna Marie, you'll find it. And yeah, on socials, I am at Anna Marie JK. So I haven't posted a lot of film content, but I am currently working on, I'm in post right now for my next short film. So yeah, I do have a little behind the scenes post about that. And whenever we finally round up editorial, I will be posting more of that as well.
Okay, nice. And I also have the link to this film, the essay, so I'll put that in the description if people want to watch it through there.
That's
Thank you for
amazing.
talking to me, Anna.
Yeah, thank you so much. This was fun. I feel like I haven't dissected it to this extent before, so this is nice.
Thank you. Thank you. It was good.